Nintendo Switch game development. Nintendo is interested in working with talented game developers and game publishers to bring great games to Nintendo Switch. That's right. Come join us for a presentation with the latest updates related to Nintendo Switch and how to apply to become an improved Nintendo Switch game developer. All right, so the session is in English, so if you want to watch it in Portuguese, just please access the right link here at our channel. So let's welcome Scott Hawkins. He's lead developer relations at Nintendo. How are you, Scott?
Hello. Hi, Barbara. Very nice to meet you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you too. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here with us at BIG.
So excited to be here. This is such an important show for us, and this is actually the third year in a row that Nintendo has participated, so we're excited to be here.
Okay, that's perfect. So the screen is yours. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. There we go. I'm hoping everyone can see the presentation, and we're going to jump right in. Welcome to our presentation on Nintendo Switch game development. As I just mentioned, this is actually our third straight year that Nintendo has participated in BIG. In 2019, we came down to Sao Paulo in Brazil and met with developers and had on-site meetings. And then from those meetings, we knew we'd be coming back because we were really impressed with the talent and the passion of the developers from Brazil and other countries from LATAM. And we were also impressed by the fact that there was a great community of developers that were willing to help each other and work together for success for everybody involved, which is awesome, awesome to see. And in 2020, we came back and participated in Big Digital, the virtual conference, and gave a presentation and had online meetings. And this year, we actually have 3 presentations. And the first one is the one you're seeing right now, Nintendo Switch game development. And right after this one, we have Gwen Foster from Robot Teddy presenting and talking about the experience of bringing Among Us to Nintendo Switch. And tomorrow, we have Pitsu Kong from Bam Tam Games, and she's going to present the case study about bringing the Nickelodeon Kart Racers franchise to Nintendo Switch and other platforms as well. There have been a lot of changes during the past year. For example, this is me before Big Digital 2020. And this is what I looked like about a week ago with my quarantine beard. And as you can see, I did clean up before the presentation. But all joking aside, there have been unprecedented events happening around the world during the past 15 months. But there's also been a lot of positive things and a lot of progress that has happened since Big Digital in 2020. Check out this video with some highlights which have happened with Nintendo Switch during the past year. So as you saw in that video, there were lots of great updates, including the Nintendo Switch launched at retail in Brazil on September 18th in 2020. And we brought the eShop to Brazil in December 7th of 2020 as well. There are now over 400 games on the Brazilian eShop and new games get launched every week. And this has resulted in really achieving one of our main goals, which is to put smiles on more people's faces. And this is what truly drives our company. We love to surprise and delight people and give them things that make them happy, and sometimes it's not even things they expected or didn't even know they wanted. And great games are one way that Nintendo Switch puts a smile on people's faces. And talking about great games, we have many great games on Nintendo Switch, from our first-party titles like Animal Crossing New Horizons to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And we also have great third-party titles as well. Games from company like EA with FIFA, or Fortnite from Epic, or Just Dance, or NBA 2K. There's lots of great games on the platform. And we have lots of great digital games that come from indies as well. Titles like Among Us, Overcooked 2, Hollow Knight, Untitled Goose Game, Hades. And we have lots of great games from indie developers too, and some of them are highlighted on this slide, including Skyracket, Chroma Squad, Horizon Chase Turbo, Dandara. The list goes on and on. And there are many games developed for Nintendo Switch that are being featured at Big Festival 2021. All of the games on this slide are featured as finalists at the awards show this year. And they're all currently available on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Talking about the Nintendo Switch, it has been doing very well. We recently announced that we have sold 84.59 million Nintendo Switches worldwide. That's a great number. And over 587 million software titles have been sold as well. It's a global success, and it's doing well in all major markets. Talking about it being a global opportunity, development for Nintendo Switch is also a global opportunity, and we have developers all around the globe making games for Nintendo Switch. There are registered developers located on 6 of the 7 continents, and we're still only missing Antarctica, and I'm still trying to find a developer based out there, so let me know if you got one. Teams come in all shapes and sizes. They can be as small as a single individual as a development team, or hundreds of people working together on a single project. Some studios are recently formed and are new. Others have been in business for over 25 years. And we want to work with all types of developers to make great games for Nintendo Switch. And there are more opportunities for developers. The developers can self-publish their own games. They can work for publishers to either do original games or port titles to Nintendo Switch. There's co-development, where developers help on projects with other teams, whether it be engineering, art, audio, animation, models, textures, you name it, or on the game services side with things like QA, localization support, live service support. There are lots of opportunities for Nintendo Switch developers. And we've been seeing more and more LATAM game development studios becoming approved for Nintendo Switch development. During the past year, since April of 2020, we've had 64 new LATAM studios approved for Nintendo Switch developer access. And we've had 29 of those that were based in Brazil. And we've sent numerous Nintendo Switch development kits to approved developers in countries in Latin America. One question we get asked a lot is, how do I make a game for Nintendo Switch? And there are 2 main methods. The first is you can work with a company that's an approved publisher for Nintendo Switch. And there are many publishers on Nintendo Switch. This slide just highlights a handful, a good selection, but it's just scratching the surface of how many great publishers there are. Companies like 2K Games, Activision, Namco, Capcom, EA, Epic, Konami, Sega, Square Enix, Take-Two, Ubisoft, WB, the list goes on and on. And one that I'd like to highlight is Game Mill Entertainment. Game Mill's been working with more and more developers in Latin America, and they've here, as you see on this slide, there are actually 4 titles that were developed by different studios in Latin America that have shipped for Nintendo Switch. Nickelodeon Kart Racers and Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2. There will be a talk tomorrow from Bamtam Games from Peru that developed the game and built that franchise on Nintendo Switch and on additional platforms. And it's great to see these opportunities for developers all around the world. For us, we just want more great games on the platform. The other way to make games for Nintendo Switch is to become an approved Nintendo Switch developer. And the process is really straightforward. So let's go through it really quickly. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? So first, you'll want to go to the Nintendo Switch Developer Portal, which we call NDP, and it's located at developer.nintendo.com. You're going to want to click the register button and sign up and create your own new account. After you do that, you're going to want to log into NDP with your account, and you're going to want to click the Getting Started link. After you do that, click the Request a Nintendo Switch Access link on the left side of the page, and it will pop up an online form. Here, this online form is what you're going to want to fill out to apply for Nintendo Switch Developer Access. And here are some tips on things that you should concentrate on when filling out the form. First, make sure that you create your NDP account as an organization account, even if you're a team of only one. You need this so that you can add more people to your team in the future, and we highly recommend that you go this route. Also, highlight previous game development experience that you and your team have, and also experience that your team members have had even before they worked at the company. Having this experience is really helpful to know whether you've gone through the lot check or certification process on other platforms, games you've shipped before, experience you have. We want to hear about it. Also, you need to include at least one title that you're proposing to develop for Nintendo Switch. We want to know that the game you're wanting to make for Nintendo Switch will support the really cool features of the platform and be a good fit for the system. And we highly recommend that you share a link to a video that shows off the latest progress of your game. This lets us see the quality of your game, your art, your programming, the gameplay. We want to see as much as you can share. Also, again, highlight the ways you're going to support the different features, the unique features on Nintendo Switch. We want to make sure that the games that are made for the platform really support the key features and feel like they're made for the system. Talking about unique features for the system, the Nintendo Switch is a great platform. You can take it with you on the go. Yeah, you can play anywhere. You can also dock it and play on the TV, and you can play in tabletop mode. The Joy-Con is packed full of technology. You got accelerometers and gyro sensors that sense movement. So as you're moving the controller or the unit, or even a pro controller, you can move it around and you can use this for gyro motion aiming or steering a car or a boat. There's lots of different uses that you can do in your games. Also, HD Rumble is a really cool feature that we recommend you support. And you have two Joy-Cons, each one has HD Rumble built into it, and you can do really cool things where you can actually contextually give the feedback. Like if you get hit from the left, have the left Joy-Con do a vibration or some type of effect. If you get hit from the right, same type thing. It really makes the game more immersive and creates an even more fun gameplay experience. Also, we have NFC and IR sensors that can sense items around the Nintendo Switch as well. And you can connect up to 8 Joy-Con controllers to the Nintendo Switch at the same time, which is great for playing together. Talking about controllers, there's lots of different ways you can play on Nintendo Switch. You can use 2 together as a single controller. You can turn it sideways or have one vertically oriented and use it individually, or you can use 2 separate as well. Also, we have the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and Nintendo Switch supports touchscreen controls as well. So we give you lots of different options to support ways to do input and controls in your game. And we feel it's best to give the user options and support different ways to really allow players to play the way they want to play. Another key feature on Nintendo Switch is network gameplay. And we support online gaming. We also support crossplay, and local wireless gameplay is supported as well. And with local wireless, you can have it where 2 Nintendo Switches or more can directly communicate with each other and play directly. And you don't even need a Wi-Fi to connect, which is awesome to see. And you sometimes see people do it on an airplane or at the airport. It's really slick and very cool. If your Nintendo Switch developer application is approved, you'll get access to Nintendo Switch developer documentation. You'll access the online developer forums, and you can purchase Nintendo Switch development hardware. And talking about Nintendo Switch development hardware, we announced last year at Big Digital 2020 that the development hardware for Nintendo Switch has been certified for Brazil. And I can also tell you that we've also certified the development hardware for Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Mexico, and Uruguay. And we're looking into additional countries in the future. When you're an approved Nintendo Switch developer, you also can get access to different engines for Nintendo Switch. We support over a dozen different engines for Nintendo Switch as middleware, including Unity, Unreal, GameMaker, Studio 2, Godot, and lots of other engines. You can also create your own proprietary engine and bring it to Nintendo Switch as well. And you get access to lots of different middleware options as well. Here are some examples, whether it be physics, audio, voice chat, or other types of support. You don't have to build your game from scratch. There are middleware options to help support your game development. And as a Nintendo Switch approved developer, you can also attend online webinars and developer workshops that we have. And if you're interested in attending a future one, we're planning one for this summer. And please email devevents@noa.nintendo.com if you'd like to sign up or get additional information about our Nintendo developer workshops in the future. Our goal is to help educate, support, and empower our development community to make the best games they can on Nintendo Switch. Frequently, developers ask us, what type of game should we make for Nintendo Switch? Well, first and foremost, you should make a game that's great, is a great game that's fun to play. That's right off the bat, the first thing. Also, we recommend games that support group play and that are fun to watch when people play. Games that are multi-platform, we want to see them come day and date on Nintendo Switch, if not earlier, and support features like crossplay and cross-progression. We love to see this. This really highlights the ability to take the Nintendo Switch with you on the go, and it really separates the Nintendo Switch from other platforms. Also, when you can support Nintendo Switch specific features, that's great. And when the game plays best on Nintendo Switch, that also is awesome to see. Another recommendation would be to try to find a niche, an area that isn't supported or your title will stand out. That's a highly recommended route to take. And last but not least, we recommend quality over quantity. And talking about that, we have lots of high quality games on Nintendo Switch. There are over 300 Nintendo Switch games that have a Metacritic of over 80. And there's a variety of games on Nintendo Switch, which is great because we have a lot of players playing Nintendo Switch and they want to play different types of games. We love games that feel like they were made for Nintendo Switch. And it's a recurring theme in this presentation, but it's something that I definitely want to stress because it is important. And talking about games that did a great job of supporting Nintendo Switch, next we're going to highlight some examples of games that did a great job of supporting the platform. The first one I'd like to highlight is Hades, which was developed by Supergiant Games, and it was released on Nintendo Switch before any other system, any other console. And it has great gameplay that keeps you coming back and playing more and more. And one item I'd really like to highlight is it was the first game on Nintendo Switch to support cross-save between Nintendo Switch, Steam, and the Epic Game Store, all those three versions at the same time. Another great example would be Apex Legends. EA, Respawn, and Panic Button did a great job of supporting Nintendo Switch with this game. They supported crossplay between Nintendo Switch, Origin, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and they also supported cross-platform voice chat. The game supports gyro motion aiming. You can play it anywhere and play with console controls. Again, the best of both worlds. And they included a Nintendo Switch exclusive skin. Also, the title continued to support additional updates and stay synced with the other systems and has frequent updates. Next, I'd like to highlight Fortnite. Epic continues to do a great job of supporting Nintendo Switch with Fortnite. And they support cross-platform inventory and account linking. And you can unlock characters like Neymar Jr., which recently was in there. I completed the challenges and got Neymar Jr. in my game. And I can play him on all the other platforms. I play Fortnite as well because they support these features. Next, I'd just like to quickly highlight Among Us. And you'll get more details during the presentation after this one. But two things I'd like to highlight is it was launched on Nintendo Switch before any other consoles. And they supported a unique and cool feature, which is JoyCon color detection. So when you plug in your Joy-Con in the Nintendo Switch, the system knows what color the Joy-Con is. And they select the character that you have in the game based on the color of Joy-Con you have connected. It's really cool, and it's little tips and support like this, the love that developers support in the games that make a big difference. Next, I'd like to highlight Tumble. This is an indie game that really did a great job of supporting HD Rumble support to the point where it actually got higher review scores on Nintendo Switch than any other platform. And the HD Rumble support was a big part of this. And it got included in extra marketing things like an Indies Direct and extra support because it did a great job of supporting the platform. Not bad for a game that only had a development team of 5 people. Last but not least of the titles I'd like to showcase today is Horizon Chase Turbo. This game supports the Nintendo Switch very well with a variety of different control schemes and game modes, including playing by yourself or playing up to 4-player split screen on a single system. And they included a lot of post-launch content support, including new modes, tracks, and music in the game as well. And they did an excellent job of making a really great trailer that highlighted the different ways to play, including having the player take the Switch with them in the backseat of the car, then taking it in the house, then docking it and putting it on the TV and playing with up to 4 people. The whole family was playing split screen, and we love to see them doing a great job of supporting the unique features of the system. And I'd like to highlight that this was developed by a team in Brazil, Aquaris. So you and your company could be making the next great game for Nintendo Switch. So in summary, I'd like to say that, again, we want to work with game developers and publishers to make great games for Nintendo Switch. With more than 84.5 million Nintendo Switch systems sold across the world, there are lots of gamers looking for great, high-quality, fun games on Nintendo Switch, and those can be your games. And Nintendo Switch supports many cool features that can enhance your game and create a more immersive gameplay experience. And there are lots of opportunities for game developers on our platform. So who's ready to make a game for Nintendo Switch? Again, you can register if you haven't already on our developer portal at developer.nintendo.com. And you can find more information about our upcoming webinars at devevents@noa.nintendo.com. And you can reach out to us via email at thirdpartypublisher@noa.nintendo.com. But don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we got Gwen Foster from Robot Teddy talking about her experience and the team's experience bringing Among Us to Nintendo Switch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, we love the show and love working with developers from Brazil and all of LATAM.
Oh, we actually love to work with you as well. Nintendo is so loved around here, so it's good to have you here once again. So, bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Big Festival 2021, the biggest games festival in Latin America.